back with you in the studio live. We have a guest on the line. It feels like old times now, doesn't it?
It is old times.
These are the good old days, right?
These are, and 10 years from now, we'll look back and be like, remember the good old days?
Remember the good old days?
But yes, this is really nice. This feels good.
So
This feels real good.
What you're trying to tell me is we should enjoy every day as if it is going to be the good old day.
Because it will.
Because it will.
Yeah.
You know, it's really funny. I have this habit. Anytime somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" I try to very authentically say, "I'm having the time of my life."
That's awesome.
Because the only time I can have the time of my life is right now.
You know what I love? When I ask how somebody's doing, and then they actually tell me. Not just good. Oh, I'm good.
Matt, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Do as I say, not as I do.
I was with a guy once. We were going through the drive-thru, and the lady asked, "How are you doing?" He just dumped all of his problems on her. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways.
Oh, you know, it's funny. I'm trying to think. Was it Dino who came in the other day, and somebody said, "Hey, Dino, how you doing?" And his response was, "I'm grateful."
I like that.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, you know what?
But you got to be it to say it.
Very true.
So you got to put yourself in that kind of mindset.
But see, that's the thing. As long as you are grateful, that's a phenomenal answer.
That's a fantastic answer. I'm gonna use that. But that requires me to always be grateful.
Hey, Matt.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Hey, Matt.
I'm grateful, Jay.
No. Matt, don't steal my thunder. Ask me how I'm doing.
How are you doing, Jay?
I'm grateful.
Awesome. Nobody knew that was coming.
Oh, man. All right, Matthew, what's new and exciting?
I'll tell you what's new and exciting. We're fulfilling dreams here.
We are making dreams come true.
Yes. We're fulfilling promises.
There you go.
April 26th and 27th.
Yeah.
If my old memory serves.
Your old
was I right?
Memory. Yes, you were right.
Yeah.
So the 26th is the response to the Nationals promotions based around profits, right?
9 a.m. to 1 p.m., correct?
That's right.
Yes.
So, all right, sorry. Had a little interruption in the service there for a second. The promotion that we ran was anybody who purchased profits up to the 22nd of March.
Yes, for that one.
Of 2021.
Yep.
So any profits purchaser previous to that qualifies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
So here's what it looks like. The promotion is that we're going to do a half day of training with Steven Larson, and he's got a special guest on. Do you what's his special guest name? Do you remember?
Are we talking about Brad Langland?
So Brad
is he the next day?
He's coming in on the next day.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're having a guy named Robbie Summers. Now this guy is a personal friend of Steve's, and Steve will tell you more about him as we get there, but he's phenomenal. And so this is going to be the half-day training that goes along with anybody who has purchased the profits through March 22nd of 2021.
Yep.
So more details will be coming. Excuse me. We'll be sending them in an email so that you guys have all the details that you need on how to get access to the stream and to view a recording. We are going to make the recording available for a very limited time, like maybe a week, a couple of days, just so everybody can view it. But that is coming on the 26th of April.
So then the 27th is Steve Larson and Brad Langdon.
Yes.
And they will be talking about funnels, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Now
for all ICMs.
This one's going to be open to all ICMs.
Yeah, buddy.
And it's going to be awesome because we're going to have not only Steve come in and train everybody, but then we're going to have Brad coming in, and Brad is the boots on the ground kind of funnel builder.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy who is doing everything for Steve. And he's going to do a phenomenal job of not only introducing but answering our questions around the funnel. Now, I just want to let everybody know this. So we had Brad come out on the pack call this past Monday, and he absolutely did a phenomenal job educating the pack on all things funnel, and they loved it. And so they're really looking forward now to having him come out on the 27th.
Yeah, Brad's a wealth of knowledge. You can tell he knows his stuff.
He does.
He's been around the block once or twice. He knows what's up.
And he's still a young guy.
He is. He is still rather young. Yes.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. So don't forget, on the 26th, we've got the fulfillment for the Profits promotion that was offered through the 22nd of March, 2021. And then on Tuesday, the 27th, we have an ICM training on funnels.
All ICMs. Calling all ICMs. Everybody should be there.
Everybody.
This is seriously, it's some good quality content. This is not, this is going to be rock solid information on funnel building. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. Like I'm very eager to dive in. So
awesome.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, I don't want to take any more time. We have a guest on the line with us now. He's already been on the show a couple of times, and he's done such a phenomenal job that we absolutely had to bring him back. But now we are not bringing him back as only a top income earner. We are not bringing him back as only a seasoned team leader or a professional. Now we are bringing to our stage the brand newest pack member. That is Mr. Umair Haq. Umair, how's it going, my friend?
It's going awesome. How are you guys doing?
We're fantastic. I'm grateful.
Grateful.
Yeah.
We're grateful.
I am grateful.
Dude, that was a good catch. I totally missed that.
Grateful, baby.
That's right. That's right. Now, Umair, I know that you have a really fascinating story about your history coming up with going through MMA and all of that, and then now becoming a top income earner inside of Renatus. Every time that Matt and I talk with you, we end the conversation just going, Umair is amazing. That guy's got such a solid perspective on where he's at and where he's headed. And we love your discipline. Where does that all come from?
It's true.
It comes from two places. Number one is just my background in martial arts. And number two is my wife. She is a badass. Sorry for cussing, but she is. She is.
We'll allow it.
Helps me get things done. And she's really the backbone of, everything we do. So, but martial arts, growing up, kind of not having much money, my parents, when we first came to this country, well, I was born and raised here, but when they first came, they worked at like convenience stores. And then my dad worked at the post office, and he's a great guy, buys everything cash. But, we just didn't have enough money. Right. And so that motivates the living daylights out of me, right? Because now I'm growing my own family, and I've been able to help my parents by understanding what is taught here at Renatus. And so I'm a humanitarian as well. So I just, that's what drives me. So it's not the money, right? Like, more money is great. I love it. It's a tool that I use, but my mindset and things have changed hanging out with you guys the last couple of years. So that's what's really helped me keep going, even when bad things happen. Because you guys know, like, it might seem like I'm winning at life, and I'm buying rental after rental, and I'm buying this, and I'm making money. But, I'm just like everyone else that's probably listening to this. There's up and downs, and there's trials and tribulations, and you just keep pushing forward, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little more about your martial arts background and how that applies to business now for you today.
Yeah, well, I think back at, originally I got started in martial arts because I was being picked on in school. I got beat up a couple of times and jumped, and I didn't grow up in the cleanest neighborhoods or the best areas, right? So I just wanted to defend myself, and I wanted to be able to, help out my friends. And, I liked standing up for people. So originally getting into martial arts, it was kind of scary and stuff. Through like the training and, consistency, you'll hear a lot of the leaders on here saying that consistency is key. Everyone listening, it's not like what these other people have is any different from you, right? It's just that I learned consistency early. You know, and maybe Bruce Lee said this, but it's not about throwing a jab once, right? It's about throwing that same technique over and over and over until you perfect it. So
that's one of my favorite quotes right there.
Yeah.
I would rather fight the guy who's learned 10,000 kicks as opposed to the guy that's learned one kick 10,000 times.
Yep. I knew you were going to say that. I love that quote.
And how that reflects to our business now is, guys, and you guys know how I literally tell people what we do to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And everything I do for my Renatus marketing business, guess what? I'm doing the same exact thing for my real estate business. When it comes, it's the same solid principles, right? So that is what kind of, you asked, how does martial arts and sports relate to what you're doing now with your business? And guys, everything's different, but so much the same at the same time. So I started learning that, and through it all, like I would win fights, and and I would win competitions, and I won the world kickboxing championship as an amateur, and so I did that for a while, and I found Renatus at the perfect timing, right? Because I was getting to the point where I was like, man, this was a hobby, but I never thought that I'd be getting punched in the face for a living. Like I didn't want to do it for money. Yeah. And so I was driving home and I saw the roadside sign, and that gym environment, that community, those people that uplifted me early on to kind of get away from, drugs and alcohol and all these things, right? That environment, I needed a new environment. And so I found this Renatus real estate investing ecosystem, right? I found this group, and it's like, I know that there's a God, because everything that I've prayed on, it just accidentally walked into my life. And I didn't know it was happening at the moment, and I was scared out of my mind. But now that I reflect back, I'm like, I needed this environment, right? Because the environment pushes me. And you guys will notice, like, it's crazy when you guys put out challenges and stuff, and I'm already competitive. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like the money's not so much motivating me, but when you have challenges, I'm like, all right, well, this gives me something to kind of go for. So
what you're really trying to say is that success for you has been about the underlying principle more than the simple actions taken, meaning that your drive, your desire to keep pushing through, your desire to be competitive and to escalate yourself just one notch further, that is what has taken you from being introduced to Renatus. So you've been in Renatus how long now?
6 years.
So you've gone from, in 6 years, you've gone from not knowing anything about Renatus to now being on the President's Advisory Council.
Yeah, I mean, not knowing anything about Renatus, not knowing anything about real estate. Like, I had no idea that I would be a real estate investor. This literally just fell in my lap, and I was like, okay, I got a great leaders in Scott Rowe and Nancy Rowe, because Scott somehow knew I was going to be successful before I did. He believed in me, and well, I don't know if he believed it. Well, yeah, he even told me, he goes, look, you'll give up on you before we give up on you. And so I try to keep that same mentality for our crew and people that we meet. And I really feel like when I speak with people about Renatus, they know I'm being genuine. They know they've seen the results, and they know moving forward, they're going to be hanging out with us anyway. So it wouldn't make any sense to try to point someone in the wrong direction. Right. So, yeah.
I love that. You'll give up on you before we give up on you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Scooty talk.
Buddy.
Oh man. So I know that you have learned from other leaders on how to engage with people, how to lead a team, and then you've kind of struck out and done your own thing at the same time, developed your own habits and personalities around your team, which has been amazing to watch. So what advice would you give to somebody who's been in Renatus for a time, who's looking to actually transition into hosting their own meetings and running their own team? What advice would you give them now?
just do it. I know that's too simple, but for what I want everybody to notice is, and this is just me being as real as I can, the people that are making money are taking full responsibility, right? So what I mean by that is, and if you look at Renatus or if you look at any other business model, it's like, well, there's always that 20% rule, right? 20% of people drive 80% of the stuff. But what I would tell people that have been a part of the group and not seeing the success that they want is take full responsibility. And so what I mean by that is do your own presentation, right? Because when you do your own presentation, of course you're going to suck at first. We all do. But over time and over consistency, you're going to get better. And as you get better, the amount of funds that come to you get better, right? So I would say, guys, just go and actually, like, whatever your reservation is, you got to push through it. And a lot of this, like Ron Williams has taught me, it's a big mindset thing. And so what I did is I just copied. I literally copied Scott Rowe's presentation word for word. I'm just telling you honestly what I did. I completely, to the point where I almost, I sounded like Scott, and I don't have the same personality as Scooty, but I literally just copied him word for word. But over time, my personality kind of came around that presentation. So what you want to do if you're watching this, guys, the influencers in the world, the people who are able to genuinely show people a new way of doing things by communicating, those are the people that are going to make the big bucks. So I made a conscious decision to be a part of that 20%. I understood that rule so well that even me in my closet, like, right, when I go to look in my closet, I typically wear 20% of the clothing in my closet, right? And because I noticed that rule applies everywhere. And so I just made the decision. I said, look, I get the game. I see it for what it is. I've got to be a different person than who I am now to be able to get the results that I'm looking for. So I would tell those people, however your brain works, like for me, I would listen to Scott and I would write down what he was saying word for word. And I even remember being in my bathroom mirror practicing, right? Because I knew I practiced throwing punches. So I knew that I had to practice the orientation. I had to practice sharing Renatus because I knew what it's done for me and my family. I mean, you forget the marketing, right? Just the power, the education is so powerful. I was actually watching my profits courses, and the guy who teaches the funnel class, can't remember his name right now, stinky at names.
Steve
But
Larson.
he goes, he's not, Steve Larson. Steve Larson said this. He goes, I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. And if I was, I wouldn't have the results that I'm currently getting in my business. And I said, whew, if that ain't right, I don't know what is.
Totally agree. I always say, you need to make yourself somebody that people will listen to, right? Like you need to work on yourself. And so I love that.
And a lot of times people will come and now they're like, Umair, can you mentor me? Or can Yas mentor me? And I tell them, honestly, we can't take a lot of time out of our day because we're still, doing our thing. We'll help as much as we can on our trainings. But what I always end the conversation with is, I'm like, guys, just be the leader that you're looking for. Be the leader that you're looking for. Whoever that is, start being that person, and over time you'll get the results that you're after.
So become the change you wish to see in the world. I like it. Dude. I hear so many different concepts, principles coming out of everything that you're saying. Everything from progress over perfection to just getting out there and doing it, knowing you're going to mess up, knowing that that's okay, and that you can improve from where you're at. Bob Snyder talks about when he first got started that he would listen to every single presenter and then he would parrot them. Kind of like you just said you did with Scott. I memorized his presentation almost word for word. Well, that's what Bob did. He memorized these presentations. He went out there and then he starts doing the presentation over and over and over, and then slowly starts to mold it into his presentation. rather than just
Yeah.
parroting back what he's heard other people say. And it sounds like you did something incredibly similar to that.
Yeah. And if you guys are not sure where to start with the follow-up. Okay. Start with the follow-up because it's simple. All you're doing is giving the details of what you're already doing. You're going to talk about the details of the education and the process that most people follow. You're going to talk about, the different funding options that, you know about. And then, if they're interested in your marketing to marketers, and you're going to show them how, how our amazing earning plan works. So if you're going to start with the follow-up.
Nice. I love it. Let me ask you, let me kind of switch topics here on you. What would you say to somebody who was a brand new ICM, who got involved, and then they said something like, well, before I really hit the marketing end, I want to actually do a deal so that I can talk about that deal. What would you say to that individual?
And I think I learned this from Michael because I wasn't sure how Michael Huggins, I would respond and say, I would position it to where they're actually doing a disservice to everyone because of their selfishness. They're holding back on someone else's potential success. I tell my ICMs, everyone starts for different reasons, right? And so the worst thing that you can do is hold back the information.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm letting that sink in for just a second.
Yeah, I really like that. I like that myself. It's profound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because people don't start they don't start because of me. They start for their reasons, right? So that's the key right there. So allow people to make their own decisions instead of projecting your beliefs onto them. And honestly, I feel like that's why a lot of people struggle is where they're starting, they have some limited beliefs and unconsciously they're projecting that onto their customer. And so you have to be mindful of that. You got to step out of yourself and say, all these other people are succeeding. And that's why mindset really has been a big thing for me. And what I notice, I've done a lot of self-development, as you guys probably know. Unconsciously, what we do is we're meaning-making machines. We're always making meanings. Like right now, you're watching this video and probably making a meaning about me. And that's fine. That's just what we do. As you guys are growing your ICM business, be mindful of the meanings that you're making on a day-to-day basis, because those meanings can make you money, or those meanings could completely devastate your wealth cycle.
Oh man, now I gotta let that one sink in too. Yeah. That's huge.
That is.
Just thinking about the different meanings that we make from our encounters, from our relationships, from our past failures, how much meaning do we draw from that and apply to today, as opposed to saying, you know what, I know where I'm at today and I know where I want to go and I'm going to take the next step to get there.
Yeah.
Instead of reverse engineering our success and then taking those steps. Oh. Man, I let that one sink in. That's profound. That's awesome.
I can tell that you've definitely taken the time to work on yourself and work this out and really give it some thought. So that is.
And I'm not done yet, guys. I'm still. I mean, I'm every day I'm trying to be better, right? Like, and even to the point where, for a while I would drink. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with alcohol, right? But I just know myself and I know who I want to be in the world. So I haven't had a drink in almost 24 months.
Wow.
And I feel better. I feel better. I'm healthy, I'm clean, and it wasn't serving me, right? So sometimes we got to take a step back and look at the things that aren't serving us or getting in our way and just say, and those might be relationships in our life. Like when I started with Renatus, man, I'll be honest, my parents are really old school. And so my dad is a really smart guy, and a lot of people in his family are PhDs and they're doctors and stuff like that. And they wanted me to go to school and try to be a doctor, but I was not good at regular school. I have ADHD, I'm dyslexic. Those are things that I had to overcome. But when I first started, my parents, they were like, dude, we're done with you. Get out of our house. I was living in their basement. And so when my parents kicked me out because they were so upset at me, I moved in and lived with my brother before he went to jail, unfortunately. You know, my own, like, he's out and he's doing good now, but I moved into his house for a little bit. And I just remember the people that I was hanging out with then and the things that I was doing. Like, I knew I had to change my environment. And so those times, even when I look back at them, like it hurts me, but I had to make a lot of harsh decisions and just say goodbye to some people, at least for a while, at least for when I was, you know, because trying to get to my end destination. So it's always hard. I mean,
so what you're saying is that growth oftentimes requires pain.
It always requires pain. So if you guys are watching this right now and you're frustrated with your business, I'm so excited for you, right? Because through that, like Tony Robbins says, through that frustration comes growth. Our bodies work that way. Our brains work that way. Like whenever we're learning something, especially a new business, you're like, oh, I need help. I don't get it. And you get so frustrated. Those who decide to quit and go off into la la land or do, you know, they're into everything. They're doing something different every month. Those people will never get successful because there's hundreds of ways of making money in America. There's hundreds of ways of making money in real estate, as you know, with all of our different AITs. But you gotta get focused, get really frustrated. And if you make it past that frustration, you're going to start seeing some major strides in your life and business. So yeah, I encourage everyone listening to this, let's get frustrated.
That is such a good way to put it, Umair, because I can think back to so many different aspects of my own life, and the growth didn't happen until after the frustration, right? Like I had to get frustrated with things first and stick to it.
You know,
man.
It is interesting because here at the corporate office, we've had the conversation a number of times about conflict and about how we live at a time in the world where we don't have to struggle the same way that our ancestors had to struggle.
Oh, for sure.
Right? With housing and livelihood and that kind of stuff. We just don't have to struggle quite like they did. And maybe through that lack of struggle, we've lost something. But it's those people who intentionally cause the struggle in their own life, who find that thing worth struggling for, who tend to go out there and do such big things.
Yeah.
You hit it on the button, Jay. Yeah. You hear any biography or anything like that, you go listen to anyone that's really killing it and really living the life that you want to live. And you listen to their story, dude, they've struggled.
Well, that's every good vibrations that I've ever done.
That's true.
Minus, I love who you do those, man.
Minus
the one.
Oh, is it Under Armour? Kevin Platt?
I thought you were gonna.
Anyways, yeah. So there was one where it kind of seems like things just came together for him, and maybe I just didn't find the struggle in his story, but I've done like 80 of them or something now, and everybody else who has become very successful has had a great deal of frustration and struggle to get there, but it made them the person that they are. It, in my humble opinion, it prepared them for the success.
Yeah, and it's worth it. Like, it is so worth it. Like when you get there and it's like, whoa, things are great. Like I was telling, I had this knee surgery, and that's why I've been a little bit behind on things, but I literally didn't work for 4 weeks. Did nothing. But do you guys know how amazing it felt to know that in the first of the month that my bank account was going to get flooded with rent checks?
Yeah.
I was like, cool. This is awesome, right? This is great.
That's cool.
Speaking of the struggle, I think that there's something that I've learned in life, which is the struggle, it doesn't define you, but it reveals you.
Yeah.
It's through that struggle. And, that's kind of the same idea that money is not in and of itself evil. In fact, money is a magnifier. It's an amplifier, right? Yes. For better, for worse. If you're a good person without money, you'll be a good person with money. if you're a bad person without money, you'll be a bad person with money.
Yep.
It's just an amplifier.
Totally. It sure is. I've seen it.
Yeah.
We've all seen it.
And I tell you what, man, who you are, who you have become, and who you are becoming amplifies just how amazing you are and how amazing you are now inspiring other people to become. Because of your example, because of your words, because of your thoughts and your actions, you're a rock star, my friend. I love talking with you. I love hearing your mindset and your attitudes. Man, I just appreciate you coming out here and sharing with us so honestly, so authentically.
Heck yeah. No, if I can do, I really want to see other people win. And a part of my struggle, if I can just be vulnerable with you guys now, is, I know that Renatus has, we've heard people say this, it's the best kept secret in America. Like, people need to know about our community, our education, our earnings plan, and the people, right? People, we need to share this with people. And so part of my struggle as a leader, and I'm wanting to level up, guys. And so where I'm at is my goal this year, and I'd love to share it with you guys, is I really want to start seeing more duplication. I want 100 more Umair and Yasis, or 1,000 more, because I really believe in what Bob Snyder and the home team and what you guys have created. So my next level is now seeing the duplication in our business. And so we're putting some ideas and thoughts together, and I'm just really excited about the summit funnel, because Bob, he just keeps making our life easier and easier. So but that's where I'm at. And as I progress, as the years go on, I'm sure that I'm going to get to that point where we're now duplicating processes, and we're systemizing what we're doing here as ICMs and with Renatus.
Yeah, buddy.
I like that. I'd take 1,000 more of you guys.
Oh yeah. I would take as many more of you guys as I could get.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I tell you what, you're awesome, my friend. It's clear to see, it's easy to see right now why it is that you and Yaz were elevated to pack. You guys have the right attitude. You've got the right drive. You've got the right ambition and desire to serve. I love it. I love it, man. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Umair. Thank you.
Oh man. Well, you know what?
Both of you.
Yeah, this has been another amazing episode of the Renatus J.A.M. I want to give a huge shout out to Umair and Yaz. I know she couldn't be here with us, but I'm so grateful that you joined us today. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Mr. Matt Snyder, as well as our producer, Mr. Aaron Peterson. We will be back next week with another amazing Renatus J.A.M. Never forget, the reason why Renatus rocks is because of the people who are associated with it, and that includes you. So thank you so much. Renatus rocks!